Hi, everyone. Patricia Calkins here. Well, we have made it into the third week of the course. I have been enjoying looking at your PowerPoint presentations on racism and on stereotyping. They have been really interesting, and you have given some really interesting examples. This week, we are going to be working on one of the more important differences between major groups of cultures in the world. And that is the difference between cultures that are called high context cultures and cultures that are called low context cultures. The United States is a great example of a low context culture. In a low context culture, the people who are participating in an act of communication say exactly what they mean. It is important in a low context culture to pay attention to exactly what is said, exactly what is communicated. And there is the idea that that thing that you are communicating is in a form that is correct for every person who you would communicate on that topic about with. Okay, that particular communication is correct for everybody. Remember that that is a sign of universalism, which we've already discussed as a part of Western communication. In a high context culture, the message is not conveyed through what is said. Indeed, most people who are participating in a high context conversation know what the message is without it being said. The message is given by the context itself. So the words that are spoken do not carry meaning. They may show a custom. They may show that you are honoring somebody because of their status in relationship to you. But the participants in a high context conversation already know what's going to be said. This is a uh, difference in how to communicate that is called particularism. So every conversation that I would have with other people, even if it is on the same subject, could be different in what I actually say because the person I am talking to is not the same person. Under particularism, every single person is treated differently. So, this difference in communication between high context and low context communication is a prime factor in there being differences and intercultural misunderstanding when a person from a high context culture gets together with a person from a low context culture. In addition to talking about high context and low context, we're also going to focus on the idea of face. What does it mean in a Western culture to save face? And what does it mean in a culture where face is actually important to save face or to give face or to preserve face or to do face work? Um, it's a quite complex thing in a culture where face is important to understand how face works. It is completely connected to high context. So these two concepts will be working together. So I'd like to show you what we're doing this week. So I'm going to share my screen. Again, this is gray because I haven't actually shared it, haven't opened this up yet. So at the top of the page, we have the usual links that these are the things that are due for this week, followed by the introductory video, which is what I'm doing right now. And then application number 2, which is all about categorizing strangers. This is due on Friday. That is followed by the idea of high context and low context cultures, the role of context in a video form. There's then a Moodle forum discussion in which you are asked to think about what aspects of your own life are high context and which aspects are low context. So no particular person and no particular culture is ever completely high context or completely low context. Moodle forum. By a Flipgrid assignment, which has to do with linguistic profiling. So this is how we make assumptions about people and their in-groups based on how they speak. This is something that plays a bigger role than we realize in how we interact with others. Finally, we have some more lessons about face. Notice that there are 2 lessons here, a deeper understanding of the concept of face, and then what is truth and what is a lie. This is a main source of intercultural misunderstanding, so I decided to do an extra lesson on that. And underneath that, there is a quiz about understanding face. Finally, you have a blog post due this week, and you have an assignment for next week. So I think it's going to be a really interesting week, and I hope that you are finding the class enjoyable. I just really love to teach this class, so I'm hoping that you are also finding it to be a worthwhile experience, and I will be talking to you soon. Thank you.